Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for its craziest, most entertaining stories where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'll be covering part 4 to the very popular story that I know a lot of you guys are watching, which is titled, While Wife Thought Her Affair Was Going Unnoticed, Husband Was Playing the Long Game Preparing for War. And at this point, guys, I'm not going to do a big recap because if you're watching part 4 at this point, you know what's going on. You know the players involved. And you also know this guy is hilarious in his comments, and he's, I think, using this as a coping mechanism to get through everything. Well, here in part 4, he is going to share with us an email that his wife sent him after obviously she was served. You remember in part 3, she was losing her mind with the texts and emails and calls after he had her served in her workplace. Well, here we are with her email, and I'm going to tell you guys in advance to pay attention for the typical BS when it comes to women when they realize they are busted and try to apologize. You'll see the typical things like not taking any accountability, blaming somebody else. You're going to see that. You're going to see her trying to guilt trip him in various ways. See if you can notice that. You're going to see trying to bring up happy memories to manipulate and make him feel bad. All these different tactics. But fortunately, our guy's not falling for this. So it's definitely an entertaining one. And again, guys, before I get into this, if you're on X, formerly Twitter, come follow me over there. We don't want you know who to win by keeping channels like mine down. So over there, I can advertise the channel. Plus, we're all having a good time. The handle is SSM Channel, so come check it out. A lot of people are joining up. So, starts off, or shall I say, his story continues with him saying, a lot of you are wondering about Bev's husband. Bev's husband texted me back saying, shit, and thanks, man, for the info. I don't know how exactly to interpret that, but I'm too tired to be invested in Bev's husband's marriage right now. I told him about his wife being a piece of crap. What he does with that is on him. Good luck, buddy. Yeah, that Bev is the friend of his wife who obviously knew what was going on here. He says, oh, and by the way, for people that are saying my story is fake, fine, just block me and ignore me. Go play Reddit Batman someplace else. Well, Emily's mom texted me the other day using Emily's phone. She wants me to unblock her, and I ignored it. Several hours later, she asked me again and promised not to bring up Emily if I would unblock her. Well, I unblocked mother-in-law's phone, and I texted her and told her I was still alive, had no plans to change that status, and that I will unblock her later on so we can talk. I told her under no certain terms I only want to chat about her or me, not Emily. I told her I need to break from all this, and I'll unblock her later, and to be patient, I'll contact her again. He mentioned he has a very good relationship. I believe he said he has a really good relationship with her mother, so he's, as a gesture for her, making it clear, do not talk about her, but we'll talk when I'm ready. We'll see what happens there. He said, Emily tried the whole I'm sorry you're hurt text, which wasn't very comforting. Hints from her text and the fact that her mom is using her phone to text me indicate to me that she's at her parents' house right now. There was a long silence of several hours, and finally Emily texted me to check my email. I went to my spam folder, and there it was. As before, I altered the text in writing because I don't want her to do a text search on the internet and find my posts. So yeah, the email she wrote didn't have these misspellings. She was autocorrect and spell checked like everyone else. Sorry for the annoying spelling. Your grammar Nazis are now the victims of my paranoia. Yeah, the way he wrote this was terrible, but I understand why he's doing it. I had to go fix the whole damn thing. He says, I'm making comments in the email like before, so no contact, and this is therapy for me. So here we're going to go into her email here and listen again to the things I mentioned in the beginning. Be on the lookout for the things I told you. It says, to such and such, I keep thinking about how this can't be real. It just can't be over between us. How can you just shut me out like I was nothing to you? It's killing me. And he says, yeah, that's the idea, Emily. It sucks when you get abandoned by the one you love, huh? She says, I don't even know how to start this because my mind is racing and nothing makes sense to me. I know I don't deserve a response, but please just read this. Please don't delete it. I just need you to hear me out. Hear what? Your excuse for cheating on me all these times? Coming home with dick on your breath? That type of thing? Yeah, okay. That's me saying that, guys, not him. She says, I talked with my dad and my sister-in-law's husband. I told them how I messed up. They said I was stupid, and they're right. I told them about how I never loved John, and I always love you, and they laughed and told me that doesn't matter at all. I felt so stupid. She says, now listen to this paragraph. This says it all. She says, I know you're done with me. I know I don't get to ask anything from you, but don't I at least deserve to explain? To look you in the eyes and tell you how sorry I am. To tell you I never stopped loving you. You think you know everything about me, but you don't. Yes, I fucked up. I betrayed you in a way that I can't take back. But it wasn't because I didn't love you. Holy crap, what a steaming pile of crap. This is me saying this, not him. All that stuff. Don't I deserve a chance to explain? I want to look you in the eyes. I never stopped loving you. Blah, blah, blah. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Her actions said everything. She continues, she says, I need you to know that I was never what you think. It was never what you think it was. It wasn't about love. It wasn't even about sex. I was pressured and felt obligated. There you go. She's putting the blame on the other guy. It was all his doing. I wouldn't have done it otherwise. He made me do it. He pressured me. Bullshit. She's a grown-ass adult. Women and accountability. And he responds, oh yeah? Just let me shave my privates, wear some $700 underwear, and go on down to the expensive boutique hotel for a nice graping. Help, please. She goes on saying, John didn't just walk into my life and sweep me off my feet. He inserted himself. Does she really just say he inserted himself? Yeah, he inserted himself many ways. He did so much for me and for my business. You know how much I was struggling, how close I was to losing everything. He was the one who helped me. He connected me with the right people. He helped me with my lease, with contacts, contracts, with vendors. He got me meetings, and I could have never gotten on my own. And I let myself believe that he was just being a mentor, that he just wanted to help me. Well, I believe that part. He obviously wanted to get in her panties, but guess what? She didn't owe him that. I told myself it was just one time, that if I just gave it in once, it would be enough. It doesn't make a difference if it's one time or 500 times. That he stopped pressing, but it wasn't enough, and I didn't know how to get out of it. I kept telling him no, but he always had a way of making me feel like I was being ungrateful. What a load of crap. Again, no accountability, putting all the blame on him. Like, after everything he did for me, I was selfish for not giving him what he wanted. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. I hate myself for not shutting it down from the start, for being so effing stupid, for letting it go on. I tried to stop it, but every time I pulled away, he'd remind me how much he helped me. Really? How I wouldn't be where I am without him. How I'd ruin everything if I cut him off. So I kept making excuses. I told myself I had it under control. I thought I could handle it. This guy's probably reading this and just shaking his freaking head. And this guy responds saying, what do we call someone who trades SCX and someone they don't love for goods and services? Tip of my tongue. Yeah, so basically she's being a hooker. She goes on and she says, and then Christmas happened. New Year's Eve happened. And that's when I knew he wouldn't stop. That's when I knew I had to end it for good. No, that's when you knew that this husband here was on to you. She says, I did end it. But by then, it was all effed up. Everything was effed up. Oh, poor you. She says, I knew I had to tell you. I wanted to tell you. I knew that the second I told you that you never look me the same way again. That it would be ruined, and I couldn't handle that. She said, I know you at least suspected ever since you accused me on New Year's Eve. I just put my head down and wanted it all to go away. Oh, poor baby. So I kept putting it off and telling myself I'd find the right time. But there was never a right time, and now I've lost you anyway. Oh, poor baby. Now listen to what she's about to say here. This is where in situations like this, people will try to manipulate you by reminding you about some happy time to make you miss her or whatever. She says, I can't stop thinking about Charleston. Do you remember that stupid little bed and breakfast where we hated the coffee and we spent half an hour at a gas station just so you could get a normal cup of coffee? And we sat outside that little seafood shack by the water, eating fried shrimp and laughing at the seagulls trying to steal our food. And you were acting like a knight with a funny British voice, protecting my food and making me laugh. And the guy says here, yeah, I love that weekend. Remember when you didn't fuck other guys? That was a swell time too. But that paragraph, when she's trying to remember the good times and this special trip, all manipulation tactic to make him feel bad. It's like the scene in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, when the part where it came out that the blonde was a villain, a Nazi, and Indy and his dad were tied to the chair by the fireplace, And before she leaves, she says something like, I can't forget how wonderful it was, you know, and she starts making out with Indiana Jones. Meanwhile, she just screwed him over. You get my point? The mind effing here. Anyway, she goes on saying, I don't expect anything. I don't expect you to take me back. Bullshit, yes she does. But I also can't believe that you would just walk away without even talking to me. After everything, don't we deserve that much? Now trying to make him feel guilty after her little blast from the past, remembering the good times little speech. I'll sign whatever you want. I'll give you whatever you want. But please, just don't disappear. Don't pretend like I never mattered, because I know I did. Yeah, you did, but that doesn't matter what you did. And if you think that she's going to give an easy divorce, you're out of your mind. And he says, she'll sign. That smells like a trap. Yeah, just like Admiral Akbar said, it's a trap. She says, I love you so much. I always have. And I'm terrified that I'll never get the chance to tell you that in person again. And he says, I love you too, but I need for you to get out of my life for both our sakes. She says, please, Emily. And that is the end of her freaking thing. I mean, good freaking Lord. Now, we're going to get into more stuff in a moment, guys. But you heard it all. The manipulation tactics, blaming it all on the lover, trying to make this guy feel bad and guilty for, God forbid, not wanting to talk to her, remembering some fun memory to make him toy with his emotions. I mean, any of you guys ever got an email or a letter like that before? I've gotten them before, at least one, if I recall. It's the same freaking tactics. So he goes on saying, this is now him, he says, I reread my comments and I sound like a heartless bastard. I'm just tired, I guess. No mention of John's credit card. No mention of how the affair wasn't fun for her anymore. No mention of how she was supposed to be handling me. If this is what they call trickle truth, because a lot of it sounds like the Emily I know, and to be honest, maybe there's some truth to it, but she's downplaying her role in it all. It's like this was all happening to her and she wasn't an active participant. Exactly. She knew what she was doing. She's a grown-ass adult. She's like close to 30, I think. He says, I mean, I feel sorry that she lost control or whatever, but it's not like she didn't have a choice. She chose to sleep with that guy because she felt obligated and he did her favors. Don't begin to even start to think. You may think feeling bad for her or whatever. No way. Doesn't that mean she's a prostitute? Sounds like it was naming her AP, John, right? Here I thought it was just for 4 letters that are easy to type on a keyboard, and it turns out to be roll. Whatever. He says, I do want to know what you all think about it, but I'm telling you right now, it doesn't make a difference, ultimately. She's trying to change the narrative to the point where we're both the victims instead of just me, and I think that's just shitty. Exactly. If she had some fucking integrity, she would totally own up to it 100%, not try these tactics, blaming the other guy, trying to all these tricks to make him remember the good times, and how could you just not talk to me? But no, she's trying these tricks. And if you think that, if you think that she's going to give him an easy divorce after this, no way. When she realizes it ain't going to work, her tricks aren't working, then the fangs are going to come out. Guaranteed. He says, the really fucked up thing here is that part of me wants to believe her, that she was just a victim of John. But the problem is, that doesn't change the fact that she slept with him for almost a year. If I forgave that, then what am I? Exactly. Exactly, dude. Part of you wants to believe her because you've been with her all this long, and you loved her, who you thought she was, and of course you didn't want to go through a divorce and all this, but you're never, ever going to get out of your head. You're never going to trust her again. It's just one big freaking mess. It's time to end it. He says, just sign the papers, Emily, and let's move on from this. Can't you do that for me? Please. You're young, you're beautiful, you don't have any kids, you're a successful business owner, and you have a whole wardrobe of fancy designer clothes, courtesy of your sugar daddy. You're killing it at life. Go live somewhere the fuck away from me. And that ends the update. Now, don't leave yet, guys. He now has a ton of stuff. A lot of people were asking him questions. He revealed a lot of things in the comment section about the situation, which I'm going to read in a moment. So if you're done with the actual official Reddit post about her email and everything, okay, you can leave. But if you want to hear more about what's going on and details that he's giving away, now continue on. One of his comments was, he says, I think she's saying that to save face with her friends and family. I'm pretty sure they believe her, but they don't have the evidence I have. Unfortunately, I can't play the car recording of her with John and Bev. If I do, I'm taking a pretty big risk. My lawyer says that maybe we can give them a transcript. If they're on my side, then we can play, of course. I don't think that would be necessary, though. If the credit card records are incriminating, I think they'll be convinced her name is on the card. Okay, yeah, remember he set up a recording device in her car, recorded a lot of info, but then the lawyer said, you can't do that in this state. So he can't use it. Another comment, he says, I certainly hope so, but that will have to be with someone else. If she actually does the work on herself and comes out better, then she'll make some fortunate dude the luckiest guy in the world. For my part, I can't get over this. Maybe if a bowling ball drops on my head and causes amnesia, or some guy hypnotizes me, I could, but no. She blew that asshole and then came home and kissed me with that mouth. She's disgusting to me now. He also says, I would rather marry a plain Jane who has loyalty and integrity and made me feel wanted and appreciated and brought me peace than some dime smoke show with a huge Instagram. Yeah, exactly. Most guys out there would take a darn good woman who is loving and loyal and all these positive traits, who is a 6 or a 7 or even a 6 in the looks department, than a 8, 9, or 10 who, can never trust. He also says, I blocked her in all ways other than text. I marked her emails as spam. My instructions to her are that she will email my lawyer. If she has anything personal to say to me, my lawyer will forward it if I ask her to. He also says, I've since had all emails from that address automatically forwarded to my lawyer, and she gets a return email that says, direct all communication through my lawyer. I originally marked them as spam because I was doing a lot of it on Friday. I set up the rules for her address after I read her email I listed above. Another one. Now listen to this. This is interesting. He says, yes, she's been my only sex partner. I don't think there may have been some FOMO. Holy crap, he married the only girl he ever slept with. I wonder about her. If she got drunk one night and banged some bozo and came home to tell me and tearfully apologize, I may have been able to work it out with her. She'd have to do some work on herself and definitely no more girls' nights out or drinking apart from me for a long time. Definitely some couples therapy and individual counseling. She wasn't the type of gal who liked to get dressed up and go to the clubs. She was usually pretty tired after work from being on her feet all day. She did go out with her girlfriends, but they had to beg her, and it was a few and far between. Sometimes she came home late from work, or now that I know from work, but she never stayed out really late like she did in New Year's Eve. If she started coming in at midnight or later at the time, then that would have been a red flag to me, and I would have probably known earlier. Her work schedule did change, but it changed from coming home at 6 to 7 p.m. at night to coming back between 10 and 11 sometimes. It was always attributed to night shoots with an ad agency where she did her hair, makeup for the models. Looking back at her schedule book, it seems like she and John would meet Friday afternoons. Maybe some of that business related, but where's my mind now? I'm assuming it was their real affair time. At last, he says, yes, I'm already in counseling. My counselor told me to make a long list on a phone app of everything bad about Emily, all of her flaws, and anything of annoying about her, and write it down. My counselor said that whenever I'm starting to romanticize about the past, I should whip out the list, and it'll take me back to reality. That's a good idea. One, good, he's seeing some therapy to get shit off his chest. I think Reddit is also therapy for him. But writing out a big list of all the things that she's done to him. So if he starts missing what he thought he had, or trying to think maybe I can forgive her, just look at that giant list and he'll go right back to the place of having to go Cobra Kai, no mercy on her. So there you go. So guys, that is the end of part 4. I guarantee you there's going to be a part 5 with more details here. This isn't over. And I know some of you love the long stories and some of you could do without them, but this particular one is really good. He's pretty funny, and I really like covering this because this is definitely his therapy, making him feel better. So I'm going to keep covering it. I don't know how far we're going to go. We could be up to 15 by the time we get to the end of March. Who knows? But it keeps coming out. I'll keep covering it. Hopefully we can help this guy out. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. If you like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.